Hello. Hi. Yes, I know that I did not post a video last weekend, and part of me is trying not to have guilt about it because I have posted every single Saturday so far this year, but realistically, I am tapped out. I am just not being creative right now. I am struggling to read. It has been just like a really interesting, weird summer for me, where usually I am cranking out books. I have so much time to read, and I just like cannot do it right now. The reading slump is totally real. And part of the reason last Saturday that I didn't post anything, usually I'm really good about like a couple of days before recording and then editing, and like it's good to go. But last weekend I went with my family to a scenic bike trail in the Adirondacks, and here's some video clip for you of it. It was so much fun. It was really buggy though. Definitely spray down if you ever go. But it was a 4-passenger bike that we just pedaled 3.5 miles one way, and then they turned our bike around and then we pedaled back the other way. It was really peaceful. It was really fun. It was a cool way to get a workout in that like wasn't overexerting. I think it would be stunning to go in like October when it's leaf peeping season up in the mountains. Like, oh, we did have some wild turkeys cross our railroad tracks while we were pedaling, so that was a little frightening. But other than that, it was gorgeous, and it was so much fun. It was so cool to get out and do something totally different. So I want to actually set some goals. I have like some really, really ambitious goals for September. I think they're a little wild. They may be a little over the top. They're going to be over the top. They're not a little over the top. They're like way over the top. It is way out of control. But there are specific reasons why I want to read these books. So it like kind of helps with the creative like planning video part of it, but like it could cause a lot of stress if I like can't get it together. I will say the nice thing will be that we'll be back in school, and the nice thing will be that we will be back in school soon, and my kids read for the first 10 minutes of every single class, and this year I am teaching 6 sections, so that's a full hour of reading for me a day, not including whatever it is that I do when I get home. So I think that that will help me make a little bit of progress, because modeling is really, really good for students, especially in the beginning before we jump into conferences and stuff. So I think that will help. But I think I'm also being incredibly overambitious with September. Okay, so normally when I read books, I try to do like an adult book and a middle grade book and a YA book, and like I don't think that that's going to happen this year. And if it does, then like the gods have looked down on me and blessed me, and it has just become a miracle at that point in time. There are 2 very specific reading vlogs or like reading videos that I want to do in September, and the problem is that like it's 3+ books for both of them, because then it gives me enough to kind of talk about and compare. So there are actually 4 titles I'm not sharing with you today because I don't want to give it away who I am reading like. I've previously had a video where I read like my friend Sandy, and I looked at her Goodreads and things that she had recently given 5 stars that I also had in my house that I was like, all right, this will push me to read them. And so I did, and then I compared if I also was going to, if I gave them 5 stars as well or whatever rating, and compared our thoughts about the books that she had read and then I read. So I am doing that again with a different friend, and I don't want to tell you who it is, which is why I don't want to share the book titles, because I feel like then it will be very specific who I'm reading like. So there are 4 titles that I have off to the side. On top of those 4 titles, someone bless me, because I'm going to try to read another. So first, I'm going to start with an arc that is coming out on September 14th that I was sent from Macmillan Publishing. It is called Wild Tongues Can't Be Tamed. It is edited by, oh, I'm going to mess this up, Sarcia J. Fennel. There are 15 different Latinx voices in this essay collection. It talks about all these beautiful different Latinx cultural aspects, whether it's stereotypes, whether it's mythology, whether it's food. I mean, it just spans a whole bunch of things, and I think that it's going to be a really interesting read. And my girl Elizabeth Acevedo is in here, so I'm looking forward to just reading something else of hers that's more of an essay form instead of a YA book. There's also quite a few other big names in here too, but she's the one I'm definitely looking forward to the most. This is a YA anthology, so it's something that once I'm done, I definitely want to share with my students and continue to incorporate inclusive and representative voices within my classroom library shelves, and just kind of like bringing another book to the table for them to be able to look at that's maybe outside of their comfort zone. And then the last 3 books that I'm going to share with you, I am hoping to do like a space themed reading vlog or reading video, because the beginning of October is like Space Week, I think. I have it all written down somewhere. Please, let me look. Okay, so October 4th to October 10th is Space Week. So I want to try to have a video in September about some book recommendations, or like if I didn't really like them, I guess, because I'm going to read them for it. So I want to have those put to the side so that way I can share them. So that way if you want to read something during Space Week, there are some titles that I have read that I can provide some feedback on for you. I think I've talked about these a little bit before in a different video when I first bought them, because I really wanted to try to add more science fiction, especially space stuff, to my collection, and I just have not gotten around to reading them. So they may sound a little familiar if you've watched some other videos, but I'm going to talk about the 3 titles really quickly with some brief summaries for you. First up is Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray. This is about 2 characters, Naomi, who is a soldier, and it is her job to protect her home planet Genesis, and she's willing to risk anything and everything, including her own life. There's a machine, and his name is Abel, and he's an advanced program that has begun to evolve. He only wants to protect his creator and be free. So that seems kind of like an oxymoron. You want to protect your creator, but you also want that freedom at the same time. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Basically, these 2 characters are enemies in an interstellar war, and they are forced together to have to work together, and part of me wonders if this is like a severe enemies to lovers kind of thing, but it's interesting because if he is an AI of sorts, he's not human. So if she falls in love with him, that may be a really interesting read. We'll see. Unless he is some kind of human-esque thing. I don't know. Space is weird, and relationships of weirdness can happen. So that is the first book. Up next is Honor Among Thieves. This is by Rachel Kane and Anne Aguirre. This says that it's a series. I have not seen any of the other books out, but I also have not actively been looking for it. So I may need to continue this if it's really good at some point in time. Zara is our protagonist. She has been in and out of rehab at different points in time, and her family decides to move to Mars, and she decides to stay back in New Detroit. But then she continues to kind of go on her reckless behavior, and she commits a crime, and now she may be looking at some jail time. Instead, she is recruited into this elite group of humans that are selected by the Leviathan, which is a race of alien ships, and it is their job to go and explore the reaches of the universe. And this also seems like maybe another enemies to lovers kind of thing. It says that she seizes the chance to flee Earth's danger, but when she meets Nadim, the alien ship she's assigned to, along with fellow honor betrays, she starts to feel at home. Okay, well, maybe not so much. I don't know. We'll see. But it just sounds like space adventure, and it's a whole group of misfits that kind of come together. So maybe there's a little found family in there, which I am trying to be better about understanding the tropes that I like and don't like. That is definitely one of them. I like enemies to lovers when it's done the right way. So we'll see. These are all really terrible, very fast, short descriptions of what I'm going to read, but I don't want to I don't really know enough about them, and I feel like the summaries of science fiction and space books are always entirely confusing until you're in that particular universe and like reading what's going on. Like an interstellar war, that's so big and massive to me. It can mean so many different things, but once like you get into it and you get the details of what's going on and how it's happened kind of thing, it starts to make a little bit more sense. So I'm sorry for the brief overview of everything today, I guess. Finally, the last book that I picked is The Disasters, and ever since I bought this book, I've been seeing the cover everywhere. It is by M.K. England. This is another attack in space. I know that we're surprised. There's a hotshot pilot who makes really poor decisions. So I think in all 3 books, we've seen poor decisions so far. He gets kicked out of an elite academy within the first 24 hours of being there. He is about to go back to Earth, but they are attacked by a group of terrorists, and he barely escapes, and he's like the sole witness to the biggest crime in the history of the space colonization at this point. And he's also a perfect scapegoat because of his previous crimes that he's committed or trouble he's gotten into. So now he's on the run and he's framed for the attack that's happened, and he and his fellow failures execute a dangerous heist. Oh my god, I love a heist. Okay, that's another trope. Love me a heist. They execute a dangerous heist to spread the truth about what has happened at the academy. So that sounds like another found family, which cool. I'm good. It's like the crows in space. That'd be cool. I'm looking at the 4 books that I told you I wasn't going to tell you about. And do I want to tell you? I don't want to tell you, but I think maybe if I give you an idea, because it might, if I give you some kind of hints, maybe, and then you could guess. I don't know. Let's see. How can I describe these? Here's clue number 1. I am pretty positive that the person that I am going to read like sent me 2 of these books at some point in time. That's not a very good clue, but that person would probably know it. But that's why I don't want to give the titles away, because then they'll definitely know it. Okay, here's how we're going to do this. One of them is fantasy. It has a white cover. It is about a girl whose parents are murdered and they're stolen away. And then this character wants to belong there, but to win a place at this location, this character must defy somebody else and face consequences. I don't know how to explain these to you. The second one is a LGBTQ mythology, and I'm going to leave it at that because you probably know. The third one is a comedy that is also a fantasy romance. It is like a historical comedy fantasy, and I'm going to leave that one there. And then the last one is how do I explain this one? The last one is about a hunter who disguises themselves in order to help feed their people. And there's a war, and there's magic, and I feel like if I say any more than that, it gives it away. So those are kind of some clues to the 4 additional titles that maybe we'll get through. But at this point, I'm not counting on anything. So if it happens, great. And if not, the reading vlog will come out when it comes out. That is all that I have for this video. It is just another short and sweet video, and that is fine. I will hopefully see you back here next weekend for a new video, but if not, like, It is what it is. They come out when they come out at this point, and I'm not gonna feel guilty about it. I will see you back here for a new video at some point in time. Bye.